Hi everybody, so today I've got lots of new products from Guerlain just launched, starting with another foundation. Yes, another January foundation release. This is the Terracotta Glow foundation that has just launched. So I'm going to try this on for you today. I've also done a wear test for this yesterday, so I'll be showing you that. I've got the new Ombré G Quad, and this is in the Honey Amber shade. I've got their beautiful new lipstick case to show you. And I've also picked up one of their Kiss Kiss Bee Glow Balms, so I'm going to try that one on as well. So lots of beautiful makeup here to try on for you today, and I cannot wait to get started with this one. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah, I'm 48, I'm not a professional, I'm just somebody who loves makeup and beauty, and here on my channel I review the latest products, show you my favourite looks and give you any beauty news you might be interested in. If you think you'd enjoy this, I do upload here very regularly on my channel, and I would love it so much if you subscribe to my channel. It really does help ever so much. I have noticed that I'm getting repeat viewers all the time, but they're not necessarily subscribing, so if you could subscribe it would be so very helpful. That really does help me with my channel and with my growth. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you, and welcome back. And my skin tone, I've got fair to light skin with neutral / cool undertones, more cool I'd say at the moment. And I've got combination skin, which is mostly dry with a slightly oily T-zone. Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's get straight into this video. Starting with the foundation, and I already love the Guerlain Terracotta foundation, so I was very excited to try this glow version. It seems to be very much the thing of January, bringing out very glowy foundations. So this is not the luminous matte finish, so this is following on from that. Well, the popularity of it certainly. So this one is a liquid foundation formulated with 95% naturally derived ingredients, which should give you long wear and no transfer. It plumps your skin, makes your skin glow and look healthy. And the formula is infused with active skincare water, delivering 24-hour radiance and 48-hour hydration for a naturally luminous result all day long. So this will correct your skin and make it smoother, and the correction is increased by 79%, if you want to know the figures they're claiming. The correcting action lasts for 12 hours, it says, and up to 48. Skin is radiant and plumped for 24 hours. This has 30 different shades made up of 16 intensities and 3 undertones, so you can get neutral, cool and warm, which is exactly the same as the previous Terracotta foundation. It also says that these shades will remain stable for 24 hours. So again, in keeping with my latest sort of trial, I'm trying to go for the cool tones. So last year I was going for the neutrals, and sometimes they were perfect and sometimes they were too warm. So this year I'm going for the cools, which will sometimes be too cool and sometimes they'll be perfect. So I'm just experimenting this year, so I'm going with the cools. So that's what I've done this year. So my shade in the previous Terracotta foundation was 1N, so I've gone for 1C. Now 1N is slightly warm, slightly deeper for me. I suppose I could drop down a bit, but as I've said here before on my channel, I'd rather be a little bit warm than a little bit too light. Not cool, I need to get the words right here. I'd rather it not be too light on me, because when it's too light it just isn't as complimentary. I find it does tend to really emphasize texture more when it's too light, whereas when it's too warm it's okay. So I would rather go on the slightly too deep than the slightly too light, if you know what I mean. So that's why I've gone with this. So this is 1C. So it's coming in pretty much the same bottle. I've got mine here actually. So here is the original Terracotta Le Teint foundation, and here is the new one. So the key difference seems to be that there's a sort of frosted glass on the original, and this one is a clear glass. So that's the main difference, but both of them have the same lids with the Guerlain logo on the top. So they look very similar. So be aware of that if you're picking this up in the shop, because they do look pretty identical. So the new one has the white writing as well, and look for the word glow. So I'll show you what 1C looks like. So we've got a nice pump action, and you can see this is quite a runny sort of formula. So I will be I won't be rather using a sponge to apply this. I will be going in with my Refa brush. My favourite brush for applying really lightweight or skin tint type of products is the BO2, which is no longer available. So if you do want to use the latest one from Refa, the LC03, this is the first version of the LC03, this one, and this is how it's eventually sort of become, having been changed with all the feedback from customers. So either or, if you've got this older one in your collection, this one works brilliantly, and if you don't, then the new one will too. So I'm tapping this into the back of my hand. One thing to mention, when I tried this yesterday, I had no skincare underneath, no primer, sorry. So I just had my standard toner and vitamin C and SPF, and I put nothing else on, and it worked brilliantly, apart from a little bit of a problem on the nose, which happened when I added the concealer. And I did actually use the Guerlain Terracotta concealer, which never normally cakes. It did actually settle throughout the day, but at first it did cake a bit here. So today, I think I do have very dry skin at the moment, so in this area, and this is my oily section, very bizarrely, and this bit here is my dry section, and then I get dry here and oily there. So how do you please these two spots? Do you put the cream on when it might cause problems there where it's greasy, but it might help this area here where it's dry? Anyway, the dilemmas of having combination skin, eh? But yes, yesterday I put nothing on and it worked brilliantly apart from the nose area. So today I've gone in with a little tiny bit of the Bobbi Brown face base, and I've put it mostly on my nose area there and a little bit there and a tiny bit here, and that's it. So I'm going to see how this goes today. But I can tell you, yesterday this went on like an absolute dream. I think the colour match, if you see now, is perfect. So I'm very happy with 1C. Although I do feel yesterday it did oxidise a bit, so it did look a little bit deeper after it's settled. Not enough to bother me, and not enough for me to want to change my shade actually, but just be aware of that. But look how beautifully this goes on. I'm just really quickly swiping this. I'm not really being that careful with slowly patting in or anything. It's just in, it's done. That is even quicker than the Dior. That is impressive. And maybe you're picking up already that I am impressed with this foundation. Very impressed. It's very lightweight. It's not giving an awful lot of coverage, but it does correct, and you can build it up a little bit. And it gives the most beautiful, healthy glow. But it's one of the fastest to apply I think I've ever used, because literally it's done. You also wouldn't know I was wearing makeup. This is so natural looking. So can you see how it's just corrected redness, giving me a beautiful glow? And it's about half a pump on this side, because I've still got this much left on my hand here. So I've just used just over half a pump, I'd say. My immediate thoughts using this yesterday and still today putting this on is this is the best glow foundation that I've tried so far in January. It was Dior, and now I think it's this. I think this is absolutely gorgeous, and I love that. Just my skin loves it. It is just not sticking to any dry patches. It's just gone on so easily. So look at this one side here that's done, and then this side that's not done. So you can still see quite a bit of redness on this side of the face, whereas on this side it has done that instant correction. And it says that it promises to keep that correction. Now, I didn't test it for 12 hours yesterday, but I did have it on for, well, 8 hours I did my check-in, but I suppose it would have been about 11 hours by the time I washed it off actually, and it still looked perfect. It really, really did. So I will play that for you and show you, but very, very impressive. It's doing exactly what it says it would. It really is. So now I'll do this side, and you can see how it's going to hopefully correct all the redness here for me. I will put a little bit more on the back of my hand, so about a pump and a half I'd say is how much I need to do a light coverage. I shouldn't have started on my nose then. I was doing that without thinking, because my nose doesn't like to have a lot of products. But anyway, it's done now. That's one way of testing this product, to see how it copes on my nose. Look how that redness is just gone, instantly gone. And also, it's gone in, it's blended in. You could probably do this with your hands as well, because just look at that. There's just no work involved whatsoever. There's something quite magic about this formula. I know for certain there's nothing I've ever put on my face as quick as this, that my skin has just lapped up and adapted to this quickly. It's beautiful. So now I'll do the rest of my forehead. I've got a bit of redness up here in the forehead area, so you can see how it corrects that. Can you see though, as it's settling into my skin, I think the colour is starting to oxidize a bit. It's not looking quite as much of a perfect match, but again, not enough to bother me, because certainly when the rest of my makeup's on, it's absolutely fine, and I still wouldn't go down because I'm so happy with the finish of this and the way it looks on me. There's no way I'm changing this in any way. But I do feel it oxidizes a little, so just be aware of that. But look how gorgeous that is. I do look super, super shiny. That is one thing with this. I have to powder this one down, and you really get a beautiful glow that comes through throughout the day when you do powder down. So for those of you that always tell me off when I powder down because I've got a nice glow, I can't cope with this sort of sticky finish. I can't bear the feel of it, especially when I've got like a jumper like this. I feel like my jumper hairs are going to come off my jumper and stick to it. Pet hairs, my head hairs, I hate it. I have to have a dry face. So I have to powder this down, but I love having glowy foundations that sort of break through without feeling tacky and give that glow from under the powder, and that's exactly what this one did for me yesterday. You will see it now with powder and maybe think it's not quite as glowy, but trust me, you'll see my end of day check-in from yesterday. It just comes through beautifully. This is a knockout, knockout, knockout. For me, the Anastasia Beverly Hills has been a knockout for a matte foundation, and this is the #1 for the glow. This is stunning. I will put a little bit more on my hand now just to show you how you could build it up. Now, I wouldn't want to build it up too much. It's very lightweight anyway. It's not going to give you more than light to medium really, but I'm just showing you here on my cheek how I can build it up. I think it built quite well then actually. So if you feel you need to take it up to medium, I think you can just about get there with this one, you know. It's certainly giving you a lot more than a skin tint does. But for me, that's all I want. I don't want any more coverage than that. That's perfect. But you could go in with a full pump all over and give yourself more buildable levels everywhere. But I just don't want to. But I've just shown you, hopefully, on the cheek how you can get that more sort of medium level coverage. It's stunning. There's just no falling into lines, no caking. My skin has just taken it on like I've put a beautiful moisturizer on. It feels lightweight, it feels comfortable, it feels refreshing. It's slightly scented, the normal sort of Guerlain scent, but very slightly scented, you know, that slightly perfumey scent they have, but very, very light, and I don't notice it at all when it's on my face. I only actually notice it when I'm pumping it out on my hand. I didn't really notice it when I was applying it either. But anyway, there is my full face of this beautiful Guerlain Terracotta Glow Foundation. So I'll go off camera and do the rest of my base and show you how this then powders down. I will be applying the terracotta concealer. I might show you that actually, but I'll just quickly go off and do my contour and then we'll get back and look at the concealer. So I've added a little bit of the cream contour. Westman Atelier Biscuit if you're interested, and now I'm going to go in with the concealer, but because I had that issue yesterday, I'm going to go in with a very careful application. So I'm going to put it onto the back of my hand first, and I've actually got this in the lightest shade. I can't read what it says underneath, but this is the lightest in the Guerlain Terracotta concealer. So I've put some of this onto the back of my hand, and I'm going to take my Refa LC01 brush and pat it into the brush and then apply it like this, which is for me the most safe way of applying concealer. The way I prefer to apply it actually, but I usually don't because I'm rushing and trying to get it done quickly. But certainly in this area here under the eye where I tend to get a lot of issues with caking and falling into lines, applying it this way is the best way. I find, to completely avoid that, and it gives me a really, really neat finish. I wanted to show you this so you can see how the terracotta concealer works with this terracotta glow foundation, and the two, as you would expect really, are marrying together beautifully. Quite often when I add a concealer, they start to argue when they meet the foundation here, and you have to work quite hard to get them to blend nicely. There's none of that with these two. They're going together very well. Apart from yesterday, the slight issue I had on my nose, which was a bit strange really. So that's why I'm going to be super careful in taking a little bit of this down the nose and just see what happens. But it happened pretty much straight away on the nose, and then it just wore off later in the day. There is a little sign of that happening again now, you know. Very strange. But I'm not going to worry about it since yesterday it disappeared. But that does tell me that maybe it's not a hydration issue, because I did add the Bobbi Brown face base to my nose today. But yeah, it doesn't look very happy on my nose again, which is very weird. But it literally completely disappeared and looked fine later in the day, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I just put a little bit more of that concealer on the back of my hand, and now taking it to all the areas where I like to put concealer, and you can see everywhere else it blends in beautifully with this foundation. I like to take a little bit here just underneath my contour line, and there, just very, very easily blending in. And take a little bit here and here where I've just got a bit of extra redness, where I always apply a little bit of concealer, and it's going on perfectly here around the nose. It is literally just the bridge. So maybe this is just something to do with my tretinoin use. Maybe I'm having a very big shedding stage or something with my tretinoin. I don't know what it is. Because everywhere else it's absolutely perfect. I'll take a sponge and pat over the nose and see if that just helps now. But if not, you will see from the check-in video from yesterday that this wasn't an issue. Actually, it does look better straight away from patting it in, so it's already looking a bit better. So now I'll go in with some setting powder, and I'll stick to a favourite and a trusty one. So I've got my Givenchy Prisme Libre pressed powder here in the shade 1. I do have a backup of this, but I will finish this first, so apologies for it looking so awful. I'm now just going to set under the eyes quickly. And now the T-zone. I always find that this powder is just a lot lighter as well. It's not as heavy as using a loose powder, which might really help with the glow coming through during the day. So this is taking down the shine, also making my face not feel tacky, because this foundation is extremely tacky. Before I powder this section here though, I will check to see if I've got any transfer. I don't know if it's too soon to be checking this for a fair test, but I will check because it does say it's transfer proof. It's definitely not transfer proof yet. So you can see it there on the tissue. That doesn't surprise me because it's so tacky. So we'll check that at the end of the video. And if I forget, like I did last time, I will pop a note for you. I will be having to go over it with a powder. I just probably will leave this section there. I'll sort of take the powder here, and I'll leave this section here unpowdered, just so I can do a transfer check by there. So I'm completely taking down the glow, and you might think I'm ruining this now because this lovely healthy glow I've got is going, but it is too much of a shine and it is way too sticky. Sorry, my hair is falling. This is sort of proving my point really. My hair is drawn to my face because it feels so sticky. So I just can't wear anything like that. So I want to be realistic in my application and the way I wear my makeup, but also show you why I love a glowy foundation for the reasons I've explained, that it will come through underneath this powder. And this powder is very lightweight and doesn't sit heavily at all, so it really does allow the foundation to come through and give you that daytime glow. You can see that it's gone on beautifully. You can't detect I've got powder on. And I think really you can't detect I've got makeup on. I know at the moment my colour is all a bit blank because I need to add other things in. But this is the most undetectable makeup I think I've worn in a long time. I think it is absolutely stunning. So you've seen what it looks like without powder and with. You may be absolutely fine with it feeling a bit tacky all day. Like I said, I can't do that, but this is how it looks powdered down. So anyway, I'll go off now, finish the rest of my base and be back to show you the eyeshadow quad. So I've got more of a base on now, so a bit more of a colour and already starting to feel better. So before I actually go in with the quad, I think I will first show you this BB Glow because I will be going in with the lipstick at the end. So I thought I'd keep this on for the rest of this look until the end because this is actually the new product. The lipstick case I've got to show you today is the new case, but I didn't pick up the new shade because I wanted a different shade. So this one is new. So here is the beautiful packaging that comes with this. They launched 6 new shades and they are £35 each. These are honey infused tinted lip balms and I've got the shade Pearly Peony, which is a pearly bright pink, which I think is absolutely stunning actually. I'll see if I can get really close up for you to see this. So this says it will offer 24 hours of hydration, which for me probably translates to about 2 or 3 hours, but that's standard for me. Oh, look how pretty that is. Oh, a lovely, lovely shade. You can definitely see that as well. You can see that pink. That's why I went for this one. It was one of the brighter shades. If I'd gone for the lighter ones, they would have just given me a tiny, tiny bit of colour or a sheer finish. I thought this was the perfect sort of spring lip balm. It's got a lovely sort of shimmer to it as well. I love that. That is very pigmented, you know, for a balm, and it feels absolutely beautiful. It's actually my first one. I didn't even know about these. I'm not sure how I managed to miss them because I was busy buying these last year, the oils in the Honey BB range, which I absolutely adore. In fact, they're my favourites of all time. But this balm, that's got to be one of the best I've tried as well. Absolutely stunning. The packaging, the formula, the colour, the shimmer, the hydration, 10 out of 10. Absolutely stunning. Isn't that a beautiful shimmer? Love it. Right, now let's get straight into the quad. So before I do anything else, I will show you my swatch video of this quad. So here it is.
You're something beautiful, electric chemical. You take my breath away, feel my emotions push and pull. Shooting stars in your eyes, you're bringing me to life. Love how you see.
I'm not going to make any comparisons because I don't have a large collection of Guerlain quads. I've got 2. I absolutely love the formula, but I just haven't collected all of them. So I don't have a quad that actually matches this in any way. So I can't do any swatch comparisons. Apologies for that, but let's just get straight into trying this on instead. So I'm going to start with a fluffy brush. This is my BK Beauty 202 or 3. I can never read this one. And I'm going to start with the pink, which has a matte sort of finish. I'm going to take this all over the eye, into the crease and above. So this will be a full base of pink. Now from swatching this, it's not a very bright pink by any means, so it'll be interesting to see if we can really see the pink coming out. I think we can actually. That's a nice shade of pink. Now this is quite a warm toned palette, so these aren't quite as cool toned as lots of the spring releases we've had so far. These are slightly warmer shades. This is more of a warm, almost peachy pink. Definitely showing up as it builds. So there is a very generous couple of coats there of the pink. With my Raphishodo 03, I'm going to go into this one, which has much more of a sparkle in it, and see if I can start building up a bit of depth with that rather than going into that next brown shade. And this certainly does build up here, and complements this pink shade quite well, I think. And running the same shade underneath using my Rapper number 3. That does give me quite a lot underneath actually, which might mean I won't need a liner today. I'm quite surprised by how much pigment I'm getting using the Rapper number 3, which is a more dense brush. I'm getting quite a lot there. Not bad. I'm actually going to take this across the lash line, just very tight to the lash line as well, because it's serving as a liner. I was thinking of using a brown liner with this look, but I really don't think it's necessary, so that's really good. I'm just going back in with a fluffy brush without adding anything onto the actual brush, and now I'm just going to soften the edges around everywhere. And so far these are extremely soft, buttery, very much like YSL type formula, which is how I found the previous quads I've tried from Guerlain. It's a stunning, stunning formula actually. They blend effortlessly and they blend and fuse into each other effortlessly, so they're very, very easy to work with. Probably the most pigmented thing I've worked with in the spring sort of launches so far. And now I'll take a flatter brush. I'll take the Shodo 00 brush and I'll go in with this one on the side. And I'm going to just bring this now across the lid and stop about there because I still want to see a bit of that pink. Oh, look how beautiful that looks when it meets with the pink. Giving that sort of shiny, almost golden finish, or bronzy. That is lovely. Just going back in with that deeper shade into the outer V just to go over it, just to make sure I haven't lost the sort of edge I had there. And now I'm going to take this pinky shimmer on my finger and put it all over the inner third. So it's going over that pink. Very, very subtle actually, that's not showing up an awful lot. It's just giving a very soft, fine bit of shine and shimmer, very subtle. I might actually take it over this sort of coppery honey brown in the middle. Not sure how to describe this colour. How would you describe it? This colour. Beautiful though. This sort of shade is definitely too deep for me to use as an inner corner shade. That's one thing. I will have to reach for my trusty Tom Ford Black Diamond, and I'll be going into the lighter shade in this to do my inner corner. If you've got a deeper skin tone to me, you might find that that shimmer works nicely in the inner corner. I know that that will just be way too deep for me. I need to use this shade, my perfect inner corner shade. And I'll pop some of this under the brow as well, because I don't think that shade in the Guerlain would work under the brow. So that is my full look using this beautiful palette. I must say it feels a little bit rich for spring. I'm feeling this is more summer moving into autumn shades. For me anyway, because I'm so fair, that's how they look on me. Maybe with a deeper skin tone they might look a bit more spring-like, but I don't think this is a spring palette for me. I do think, even with the pink, this is more of a, yeah, summer moving into autumn shade, I think. But I think it is absolutely beautiful. I think this makes a good transition from the summer to autumn, because it's like the autumn shades on me, but with that pink it's still bringing in a bit of summer, so I think that's where it would be really, really good. But maybe deeper skin tones would see that differently and it won't look so deep on them. But if I went more for the pinky shades and maybe just use this as a liner and I skipped this shade, which I absolutely love, so I wouldn't want to, but if I did, these three together would probably give me that summer look. So you could still get, spring look. So you could maybe get spring and then pop that in and you get autumn and summer. So you could argue this is doing a really good job because it's covering 3 seasons. So stunning formula, but used all together, I love that overall look, I really do. I think it is stunning. But I've got my pink top on, thinking I'm going for a very pink look, pink blush, pink lips, but feeling like I should be wearing autumn colours now because I'm not seeing enough of the pink. I know it's just the one, well, there's sort of 2 pinks, but these shades have taken over, especially that one. And maybe that's because of the way I've applied it. I could have gone much more lighter, but I just really love the colour. I did start packing it on as I was applying it because I love that colour. Anyway, absolutely beautiful. Different ways to wear it in my opinion. I'll go off now and do my mascara, and then we can be back to look at the lipstick case. So here is my final look using mascara. I absolutely love it, but as I said, definitely more of a late summer to autumn sort of look for me, and not really going with my whole pink vibe. But anyway, love it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I do believe, as I said, if you just leave out that lighter brown or orangey shade, that you could definitely make this more of a summer look, or if you just use a lot less and more of the pink and shimmer. So I've just basically applied quite heavily every shade so you can really see the colours, and the overall effect is less spring-like, but still beautiful. Autumn shades are my favourite, that's why I love it so much. I think this really suits my sort of taste. Anyway, let's move now to the lips. Now I have actually wiped off this Bee Balm, and I've still got shine, a bit of shimmer and a bit of pink on my lips, which for me is great news because I love it when something like this lasts. So I've really scrubbed my lips with a makeup wipe and it's still there. So that's very good news for me. I love it when products like that grip and give you colour, and you can see the way it's stayed on my lips. It's stayed in a very natural way, so that's going to wear off very naturally and be very long lasting. So that's fabulous news as far as I'm concerned. Maybe you don't like that, something to be aware of if you don't like that, but certainly for me I love that. Not great when I'm about to show you another lipstick though, so do keep that in mind, even though the one I'm showing you will actually work with this. Because when I got the new lipstick case, I didn't get the new shade, and I'm sorry I didn't get the new shade to show it to you, but this is such an investment, and I just wanted to buy a shade that I liked, so I didn't buy the new one. The new one is just a beige, and I've had so many beige lipsticks over the last sort of 6 weeks. They've come out in so many different types of beige. I just wanted to go for a pink, so I've gone for a colour that's already in the collection, which is actually called 518 Le Rose Blush, and that's a satin powder pink, so that's what I'm going to try on now. But the main reason I got it was for this case, because look at this absolutely beautiful, stunning case. I think this might be my new favourite from Guerlain. So my promise to myself with these Guerlain cases, because they're so pricey, is that I will only buy them if I love them. And I love the florals, I really do. I did get the Christmas one because I loved that, but just to give you an idea of previous ones I've bought, I think this was a summer one. This one has a sort of denim on it. It's hard, I look at them and think, oh, that's my favourite, and then that's my favourite. They're all my favourites. And then this one was a spring release. Oops, I just put my mirror light on there. Another stunning one. I don't think it beats this year though for me. And this one might have been my first one. That is so pretty, isn't it? But I do think I prefer this year's one. And as you turn it, the gold with both of these catches in the light. They're so pretty, aren't they? So with these, the case is £32 and the refill is £35. So the lipstick actually costs more than the case for a change. And if you're not familiar with these, as you open them, the mirror will spring open and you can get a free engraving. So I've got my name engraved there inside the mirror. Obviously I can't really show you the mirror, but it's brilliant because you close down the mirror as you're putting the lipstick back in, and it keeps the mirror down and keeps the case closed and open, and then you can just do your lipstick on the go using the mirror, which I think is for me is the best lipstick case design out there and the prettiest designs. Do you know, I'm looking now up close in this mirror at my foundation and it looks so good. Slightly off topic, but this foundation is really good. So here is the shade I got. I just thought this was a lovely sort of spring summer shade, and that's why I chose it. I didn't already have this one. So here it is on the back of my hand, number 518 Le Rose Blush. So I'll try this one on. Oh, what a gorgeous pink shade. That is beautiful. I think if I had got the beige though, it would have gone much better with this eye look, with it being so sort of orangey brown. and this pink is not going with it. I think I need a beige one, but I wanted to show you the one I bought. But I think I'll finish with a brownie lipstick just so you can see how that would have looked. But anyway, there is 518. Beautiful. Definitely going to be a regular used lipstick for me in summer and spring, and definitely one I'll be taking out in my bag, because who doesn't want to pull this one out to apply it when you're out and about? Gorgeous. I've got here the new MAC Timeless Taupe, which I recently reviewed. This was with their Lunar New Year release. So I'll put this on instead. There, I think that's a better sort of finish to go with this eye look than the pink, definitely. Yeah, so if you pick up the new shade beige, I do think it'll complement this quad a lot better. It's strange because I was thinking the pink would come through enough, but as I said earlier, I could have applied a lot more of the pink eyeshadow and a lot less of the browns and the sort of orangey shade. Anyway, that is my final look. So obviously you've seen that I don't think the colours necessarily go together, or that it's definitely a spring sort of palette for me, but does that mean I don't like it? Not at all. I think everything I've tried on is really, really good. But let's start firstly with the foundation. So before I do anything, I'll play you my wear test from yesterday. So here's my wear test. Hi everybody. So I've got my light on there. I've got my check-in for you, my 8-hour check-in with this brand new Guerlain Terracotta Le Teint Glow. And it is looking fantastic. So when I applied this this morning, it looked brilliant, apart from where I'd added concealer, and I did actually use the Guerlain Terracotta concealer, and that was just on the nose area. It did look a bit cakey. Now I was putting that really down to the fact that I do believe my skin is just extra dry, and I do remember last year in January having this issue, so I'm going to pull back a little bit on my tretinoin, because a lot of the foundations I'm trying are caking up from here down, because this area is just dry, and I can see that I'm dry in my skin, so I need to maybe drink a bit more water, and well, the weather needs to change and the heating needs to go off, but I can't do much about that. But having said that though, the Guerlain concealer, which left cakiness here, I thought I'll just leave it and I'll show you in the check-in, thinking it would be so much worse, but it's actually gone. So I think a bit of natural oil must have come through and it's settled, and it's actually gone. So this is the first review this year when I can say that a problem I've had from application has improved and completely disappeared, and there's no additional caking anywhere. This foundation looks pretty much exactly as it did this morning, which is glowy, natural and perfect. This is looking like a fantastic foundation. First impressions. This has gone on today with no skincare whatsoever. I might try a little bit around the nose area tomorrow because of this dry skin to see how it copes on top of skincare. But for today, on top of when I say nothing, I had toner, vitamin C and SPF, and normally then I'd go in with a moisturising primer or a moisturiser, and I didn't today. So this has gone straight on and it still looks really good. I've got a tiny bit of dryness there, just tiny. But I have powdered over it because it does feel too tacky for me to not powder it. So this is how it looks with powder on top, and you can see the glow has come through. It doesn't really look like I'm wearing powder, but I've got enough powder on for it not to feel tacky, and you can see that natural glow has come through. So absolutely over the moon with this one, I really am. The only thing possibly is I could go down a shade, I think, because I do think it oxidized a little as I applied it, so I obviously will be looking at that today. But anyway, otherwise amazing, really impressed. Anyway, back to me reviewing this tomorrow. So as you can see, I was delighted with the finish yesterday, apart from when I first applied on the nose, as I mentioned in that video and as I mentioned earlier, but by the end of the day that had completely gone. But I can tell you, I've just looked in my magnification mirror and that slight sort of caking I had there has gone again. So I don't know if that's to do with the concealer hitting it. I personally think it's to do with my nose because of the time of year. I do remember in January my sort of tretinoin use had to be brought down a little bit as the sort of conditions in the weather and the heating changed. So I do think it's more of a me issue. but it literally has resolved itself already before I finish my look. And I have not got signs of caking in one single bit of my face. It is not clinging to dryness anywhere. You should already be able to see that the glow is coming through the powder a bit. I have a little bit of a highlighter on, so I do have a little bit more of a shine there, but overall it doesn't look too dry. And I think, do you see what I mean when I say it just looks like I'm almost not wearing any makeup on my skin? There's no signs of it. It's not going into the lines. It's not caking. It looks so natural and so beautiful. It just looks like I've got perfect skin, but it's not. It's the foundation. This foundation is absolutely amazing. This could be my favourite of the year. That's how good it is. It's January and there's no way I've got any way of knowing. There's going to be all sorts of foundations coming out, I'm sure. But when I look at last year and the Dior stick, I think this and the Dior stick could easily be my top two because of how much I've loved the way this has gone on. The way it corrected, the way it made me look healthy, the glow it gives, the way it wears, the way it looked even right to the last minute when I went to bed last night, hours after filming my check-in. It still looked perfect. And like I said, when I looked in that tiny mirror from the lipstick and saw my face really close up in the mirror, first impression was, wow, my skin looks gorgeous. So this is so far the best foundation I've tested, and I've tested a lot in January if you've been following my channel. I think it is sensational. So I definitely recommend this one. I don't know how you'll get on if you've got really greasy skin. I think this is working brilliantly on my dry skin. You might find it works well with greasy skin. You might just need to mattify a little underneath beforehand. But I would give this one a go. I would absolutely test this one out because it's beautiful. You'll get less coverage than with the original Terracotta foundation, but enough coverage, I think. But you're certainly not getting that full coverage if that's what you're looking for. But I think it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And the way it wears, it's very, very rare for me not to see some sort of signs of caking around here by the end of the day. Very, very rare, and absolutely nothing. It's gorgeous. And moving on to the quad, formula's beautiful. Colour story, not so much spring as I've gone over enough now, but still beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, very easy to apply, as always, very soft and buttery, just like the YSL. They remind me so much of the YSL. I haven't used any sort of liner because the powder was good enough for me to use as a liner. The inner corner I couldn't use it for, as we saw. I had to go for a lighter shade because of my skin tone, and it didn't work for end of the brow for me either. But otherwise, I love the look it's created, but I will definitely think of this more as my autumn sort of palette. And then the Bee Glow really impressed me, how long it lasted. I think this is one of the prettiest pink sort of shiny balms I've tried on. I think this will be, what, again, just like with the oil, it's going to be one staying in my desk. The oils, I got them over a year ago and they're still right next to me. And I think that's exactly what's going to be happening with this, because this is beautiful. And I probably need to go back and buy about 5 more shades. I had no idea it was this good, which is not very good for my bank balance. But anyway. And look at the packaging. Oh, fabulous. So Guerlain are really onto a winner for me with these releases. And obviously this, possibly the most beautiful case they've ever come out with. Look at it. Isn't it stunning? Anyway. And the refills, by the way, if you're not familiar, or sorry, if you're a collector and you weren't aware, I'm sure you are, the old refills won't fit into these cases. They've changed the shape, which is something I know that upset a lot of people. But this one, I think this is the third? This is the third case that's been released in this size. So maybe other people have started collecting from there, so it's not an issue for them now. But if you've got the very old refills, it wouldn't fit in. Other than that, absolutely beautiful. So anyway, that's everything from me for today. I would love to hear your thoughts on everything I've tried today. Have you ordered any of the products that I've just tried on, or are you thinking of it, or do you hate the idea of them? Whichever or whatever, sorry, your thoughts are on any of these products, I would absolutely love to hear them in the comment section below. And if you've enjoyed the video, please do hit the like button, and please do hit that subscribe button. I know lots of you can find my videos without being subscribed, but it's so very helpful to me if you just hit that subscribe button. Please do that if you can. It's really helpful. And if you're already subscribed, you're at the end of another one of my videos, and I really do appreciate you so much. And I hope to see you all again for my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.